that you live in Seattle and out there in such a beautiful area. Like that's got to be
June
so
15th,
surreal.
June 15th to October 15th. I'm not kidding you. It takes my breath away. It is so incredibly gorgeous right now. November, December, January, February, March. Not so much. Not so much. No, no, no. But boy, oh boy, August on Bainbridge Island. Yeah, you'll have to check your pulse and go like, whoa.
I could only imagine, and I can't see where you would get any other great understandings for life in such a mindful area to be able to rest and become
Okay, all right, here we go.
to examine the mind, right? But
Here
this is
we go.
Dr. David Hawkins, MBA, MSW, MA, PhD, renowned clinical psychologist, and my name is Jay. Welcome to the Tragedy Academy, a show created to bridge societal divides in a judgment-free zone using candor and humor. How you doing today, Dr. Hawkins?
I couldn't be better, truly. I mean, it's a great day. It's it's a lovely day, lovely weather, lovely life. I'm doing fine, Jay. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that response. I really like that outlook.
Well,
I myself, I usually say any day on this side of the dirt is a good day.
yeah.
Right? And it is
Absolutely.
about how you approach things. Gary, how you doing this morning? Besides being frozen.
The frozen man.
We'll loop back to him.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Hawkins, I want to thank you first for taking the time to come on the show. You
Yes.
have such a huge background. It's so diverse. When I was looking through, I was like, oh, I'm going to read his book. Now, there's over 30 of them. So
I
why don't you
got
tell
on
us
a
little-
roll. I got on a roll. I found that it's the way I've approached life, Jay. I started going to college. I didn't think I could go to college, and I went to college like, I can do this. I can go to college. I can learn something. I started taking piano lessons 7 years ago. Like, I can do this. I think I can start to play the piano. Anyway, and 15, 20 years ago, I thought I would see if I could write a book. And I could, and it was kind of cool. And I wrote another and another, and yeah. And it's
Once you open those floodgates of passion, it's pointless to try to stop it going forward.
So true, and it's so wonderful, and everybody has got something special inside of them, and like, yeah, come on, it's not so. I've heard someone say it's not so much about learning new things; it's about just kind of unlearning. Let it flow.
Dropping
And-
those self-limiting beliefs that were given from such an early age. You mentioned piano.
Write the book. Take up Spanish. Play the guitar. Come on, do it.
You absolutely should. I agree with you 110% because we don't view ourselves as such amazing beings.
Yeah.
As the amazing beings that we are. We sit underneath a glass as a flame, and all it needs to be is shattered. Once it's shattered, you are at your full potential. You can realize anything, absolutely anything. You want to be an astronaut? Go be a fucking astronaut. You can do it. You want to play the piano? Play the piano. The only reason why you can't is because you believe you can't.
Exactly.
Because in every reality, you are able to.
Totally. I am the only person I know that I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here, Jay, but I think the emotion of envy is actually okay. Not that I want to have what you have, but I look at Jay and go like, hey, like that's a cool poster. And those are, like maybe I could find a poster like that too. And maybe I could be a podcaster too. And maybe I could, and I can. So not that I want to have
potential.
What this other person has, but I want it like, hey, that inspires me. Like they took up piano at the age of 60. Well, then maybe I can.
You're talking to somebody that started working in music production at 42.
There you go.
Having never touched it in my life and found that I had an affinity for it. And it really unlocked a lot of other potentials that I didn't know that I had because from an early age, things like that were stifled. Yep. You were told, be quiet, be seen and not heard. Or if you had a bully that was telling you not to be an extrovert in any way, shape, or form, because that was, going to offend somebody or it was nerdy or whatever it is. and you start inventing personalities throughout life until finally you shatter and you go, oh, wait a minute. This has all been a decision, and I really was amazing to begin with, right?
And it can just keep going. Like I am. Oh, I thought I was a. No, I guess I'm a. Oh, and then I'm a. And then
We're
I'm a.
actors. That's why it's limitless. It's limitless because we're actors.
So fun.
It is absolutely fun. The more professions and the more masks that you collect that you don't identify as, but identify with, are two completely different scenarios. Like Gary has such an amazing and eclectic background and is not here again, as I say his name once more. But he works in television production with, you know, The Ultimate Fighter, Street Outlaws, and all these different creators. And when you think about shows like that, you don't realize the number of people behind the scenes that go into creating something like that, from graphic design and audio and camera work and photography, and getting to wear all those hats at various times, not to be the best of one, but to enjoy the dynamic of creating from that lens.
Absolutely.
I think that experience, you know, are lenses, and they compound over a lifetime. And that as we walk through, we create our own version and vision of life. And no two people can transfer those glasses to each other, just like they can at the dinner table.
You used a word, Jay, create. I love that word. I think everybody just grab a hold of that word and just like, come on, create something today. Just go out there and create something. So yeah, fun topic.
I am super excited. I've got goosebumps. I'm really happy that you're on here. I can tell that I love good energy. It makes me happy. It makes me feel the passion of other people.
Yeah.
Right. I can feel your passion, and I really want to see where we're going to go with this.
All right.
But I did happen to look into your library of books that you did author. And instead of picking the most recent, I wanted to pick the one that resonated the most with me.
Oh,
and
boy.
So so can you guess which book you think I picked?
No, I don't. No, are you really ready for love? Maybe that one. That was 10 years ago. That's in there, but
no.
Dealing with the crazy makers in your life. No, 9 critical mistakes most couples make.
Nope.
When loving him is hurting you.
How about A Power versus Force?
Well,
1995.
Oh, sir, this is a tiny bit embarrassing.
That's not you.
That is not me.
How does that happen?
There's another man out there who's Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote a similar. I could have written something like that.
Right? That's why it's so easy to gravitate to that. It's unfortunate that it was listed in your books as an author on Amazon.
Okay. That's
I'll have to double check that. That might be me.
It could be right. So, and this is a little bit of an awkward moment, but that's okay.
I'm okay with it because I feel like it's a dynamic that you would understand. And it was very like Prometheus Rising, Anton, Wilson. I was like, this seems like something that, from your viewpoint, that it would have come from.
Yeah, no, I'm a little, he is no longer with us. He's dead, but, he was a giant intellectually, as far as I understand it. I'm kind of a common Joe, Jay, and I'm not putting myself down, but I talk in terms of like, how are you doing some crazy making stuff today? Let's talk about that. And are you kind of egotistical and narcissistic? Let's talk about that. And do you have some self-defeating behavior? Do you want to be this kind of a person, but you end up being that kind of a person and it hurts everyone that you're around? Let's talk about that. So anyway, I'm a little more kind of common folksy. And that's my claim to fame.
There is nothing wrong with that because I looked at what your message is and how you approach your life and your mission, like bring healing and restoration to thousands of marriages and individuals, helping couples rediscover deeper connections and intimacy, and contributing to national platforms like crosswalk.com, cbn.org, and believe.com. I mean, this is all amazing stuff. You're clearly involved with your community. But I like the fact that you're mentioning that you are down to earth, because when people hear titles like that, they tend to get turned off and they think they're about to be bored by somebody when they, when in all actuality, you're someone that is exploring the human experience and helping translate it for the individual and help them understand that they're really choosing their perspective on life at the
Yeah,
end of the
they
day.
to that point, Jay, so couples come to me and they've typically gone to dozens of other clinicians, therapists, helpers, whatever it might be. And so they're kind of coming to me going like, look, and I tell you, I hear this phrase all the time, Jay. You're our last hope. Now, I don't know if I want to be anybody's last hope, a last ditch effort, but that's how they come to me. And I look at their relationship, and there's nothing on the surface that was like this should work. And then I delve into it, and that's what I'm curious.
Hmm.
You can probably tell that about me. I'm curious, and I want to know, like, wow, tell me some more how you tend to relate. Tell me some more how you talk to each other. Tell me some more how you solve problems. And they say, oh, we don't solve problems. We have. Oh, that's kind of curious. So you face issues. Oh, we got a bunch of issues and you haven't been able to work them through. Not at all. None. Zero. Oh, that's really curious to me. Let's talk about what is it about each of you, and then we uncover these subtle, often they're not like blatant. You wouldn't notice them. So I notice, oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, I just noticed, sir, that you roll your eyes when she makes a complaint about you. Oh, and then you turn oh, and then you scoff. Do you do that a lot, sir? Well, I don't know. I didn't notice I did it. Oh, you did it. I saw you do it. You rolled your eyes, you scoffed, and you waved your hand, in fact, at her. And then she goes, he does that all the time.
It's extremely
And and
dismissive.
and then
It's
we
not
and
an
then we
equal place to work
uncover
from.
and we uncover these traits, and we uncover traits of defensiveness,
Mm.
domination, dismissiveness. And a little bit of those, Jay, a little bit goes a long, long ways. And then if you're doing that a little bit every day, day in, day out, month in, anyway. So that's what I notice. That's what I find. That's what I write about. And that's what I think needs to change when we look at relationships and how to make them work. It's got to be, somebody's got to really look, somebody's got to say, let me really, really, really look at what you two are doing. And then what I promise them, and I'm good at this, I tell them, look, I can't heal you folks, but I can tell you what you need to do to heal. And the rest is it's up to you. I'll coach you. But anyway, so that's what I
Well,
do.
a lot
That's
of
what I'm
people in
about.
your seat, yeah, a lot of people in your seat will actually try to tell people what to do. After the diagnosis comes a roadmap to recovery or some ridiculousness like that. And just like earlier, when I mentioned lenses and experiences, you can't
Yeah.
swap them. They're two totally different scenarios. I think that educating two people to their cues, what they give off in certain scenarios,
Yeah.
how it creates defensive mechanisms or not level playing fields to communicate from because you scoffed, you rolled your eyes, you've already been dismissed in advance. So,
Yep.
therefore, what are you going to do? You're going to double down on your anger, or you're going to try to overprove your point, or you're going to walk away and just become
You
shut
got it.
down. There's
You got it.
so many different ways that this can be broken down. And someone like yourself, I like the fact that you're saying that you're giving him those, those keys to be able to unlock their own potential in their relationship and see that this door here is locked. This one here is always open. This is a window over here of opportunity. You guys, the way that you approach
Yeah.
this is positive, right?
Oh,
I don't hear
very
any
hopeful.
criticism.
Well, there will be some criticism. There will be
No,
some
no,
criticism.
criticism of the human experience or what they're
Yeah.
going through.
I I tell them, "Look, I'm human. Everything that I see you doing, I'm doing or I've done. So I'm not, look,
Yep.
I've been there. I know what makes a relationship not work, and I know what makes it work. And you're going to leave my office, you're going to leave your experience with me knowing exactly, okay, if I keep doing the man who or the woman who scoffs and rolls their eyes and is dismissive. By the way, Jay, that that has been shown to be probably the number one detrimental trait in an abusive relationship.
Mm.
Someone invalidating the other. Invalidating, just like, no, 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 no.
Mm.
When this other person is saying, yes, 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 yes,
It's
no,
almost
no,
like
no. Okay,
convincing somebody they're insane.
exactly. So this person who invalidates, and I will just say to them, look, folks, look, if you're invalidating, all right, can you see that? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Okay, if you keep doing that, I guarantee you, guaranteed, I don't know whether you will divorce, but your relationship will deteriorate. And in all likelihood, you'll divorce, but maybe you won't divorce. Maybe you'll just move to separate bedrooms. Maybe you'll move to different parts of the house. Maybe, I don't know what you'll do, but you won't
You'll
stay
divorce in
connected.
place.
You will not stay connected. You will not
Correct.
have an intimate, loving, healthy, vibrant relationship. It will not happen. So you folks decide, you or sir, you, whoever I'm talking to, you decide whether you want to maintain that trait. And by the way, Jay, here's another topic, and that is the person who invalidates or who is defensive. We'll take that trait. They're protecting something. We don't just
Mm.
defend ourselves out of thin air. So if you poke at me a little bit and I go, well, no, I don't think so, Jay. I don't know so, Jay. I'm not sure, Jay. It would be good for Dr. Hawkins to look at himself, David Hawkins, and think, wow, why did
And
I
mm,
why did I bristle at that? And so anyway, if someone is not self-reflective and
mm.
willing to take ownership of these destructive traits, then the relationship for sure is heading down. It's going to disintegrate. And so
No,
ownership is a big, big part of what I do.
completely agree with you. I love the fact that you're highlighting mindfulness,
Yes,
the
yes,
ability to
yes.
introspect, the ability to
Totally.
see that you're looking into mirrors. Anything that you find that you have some kind of fault with or upsetness at or upsettedness generally means that you've got some kind of wound inside that you're trying to protect. That's why we have those stripes on our ego mask. That one's the one that I'm going to say things back to you
Yeah.
whenever you poke this bullet hole from when I was 5. You poke it, this is my response. This is my protection response every single time. It's not going to change until I'm aware of it and what
Yep.
caused it. Now,
Yep.
we're
And you
talking
grew
about
it back at age 5, and it was effective when you hid under the stairs at age 5, when you ran off and
mhm,
sulked in the backyard at age 7, at age 9. It worked for you. It was effective. Someone smarter than me has said, those destructive traits that we have now were effective at one time in our lives,
mm,
and they're just no longer effective. They worked for us, but now walking out of the room and not talking to your mate for 2 days, you can't do that, folks. You can't. I get it. I get it that it helped you. It helped you at age 8, but it's not helping you now. So now I love the way you're talking, Jay. You tune in and you come to understand what is your wound, and then you do some healing work around that wound, and then you're able to show up with other people much more effectively, not being so thin-skinned.
it's a root cause analysis of self, Who
Yeah.
am I actually in this reality? What creates me? What are my layers? Where are my knots if I was, a rope? How big is this
Yeah.
knot? What do I need to do to sit down and be able to untangle it? Where are these effective pieces? The more that you pull away at a knot, what does it do? It naturally starts falling apart even faster the deeper you get into it.
Mm.
It's getting those first few layers loosened up, and that's a personal mindfulness that you're owing to that relationship that you're in. If you're
Yep.
going to commit to somebody, I don't care who you are, then you should have the respect to at least have, some kind of onus on what you bring to the table, and that honestly admit that we're different,
Yeah.
right? And that we don't have those lenses, even in your relationship, no matter how much you think you're compatible, You're still raised in different environments. You have different rewards and pains and things that give you gratification or things that give you protection. They're not going to be the same. It's about understanding what is a response and what is actual reality, right? And a lot of people haven't given themselves that time to sit down and reflect on how they've become who they are. But it's not their fault in a lot of ways because we're not designed as a society to look into ourselves. We've been designed to look at everything going on around us. Right?
Blame.
Right? And I saw a very compelling meme the other day, and it was very simple. It was a man with his hands in front of him, looking down as if he were looking at a book.
Okay.
The rub, the book was his face looking back at the book. And it was saying, read yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Don't read other people or other things. Read yourself.
Well, we have an opportunity, don't we? Every time what I teach all the folks that I'm working with is every time you are triggered, instead of like, oh, that person blanked whatever they did. They insulted me. Okay, so what? And I don't mean so what in an insulting way. I mean, okay, right, I get it. Yes. Yep, they were critical of you. Yep, they called you a name. They called you a narcissist. They called you stupid. They were very upset and they did. I gotcha. So what? What does it mean for you? What did it trigger inside of you? Can we go on that inner journey? Well, they called me a name. I know that. I know. I got that. Not nobody would want to be called a name. No one would want. Well, they walked out of the room. I understand completely. That had to have hurt. Can we talk about now what that awakens inside of you? Okay. So Jay and Gary, everybody, if they're going to grow, they have to go on that journey. They have to shift the focus from, yeah, but they got to take away that finger and say, okay, I want to learn about myself. And once we do that, if we can cultivate that inner curiosity, yeah, they did that to me, but now how I respond and what I do with it is up to anyway. It's such a powerful shift that anyone who wants to grow, anyone who wants to have a healthy relationship has to make.
And it's self-care. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not practicing self-care or showing yourself self-love,
Yeah.
then how do you expect somebody else to show you love?
Yeah.
If you're not worth loving, even in your own eyes, then the expectation that somebody else is going to dedicate themselves to you at such a high level is absurd.
Yeah.
It's an absurd request. And the fact of the matter is, you are in a position where you need to respect the other person.
Mm-hmm. And there's probably almost always there's some validity in what this other person is saying.
Always.
So come on, get off your high horse, everybody, myself included. Come on, chill out here a little bit. So they called you. They called you a bunch of names. What was going on in them, do you think, for them to do that? Why? Well, they were just, no, I don't know if they were just. I wonder if there's something going on here that you need to pay attention to. And it's called empathy, by the way.
100%.
Understanding another person and then understanding, oh yeah. Now right. When I think about it, they were thising and they were thating and I had contributed to their thising and thatting by doing that anyway. And we learn, we grow. And now all of a sudden it's not so simple as just they did something to me and I have a right to be mad and that's the end of the story.
Retaliation.
Oh.
That's a beautiful one, right? Retaliation solves nothing because it was already imbalanced to begin with. You're just throwing more dirt into the other side of the scales. And it's just going to continually be unbalanced because you're measuring it to begin with. Don't measure it. Look at it as a whole. Be respectful of the situation. Understand that both people bring valid feelings to the table at any given moment. You have to understand what it is that you're bringing to that person at any given time and why. And also have empathy for those fear responses, which look like anger. Fear responses look like anger.
Yep.
People
totally.
do not realize that. A lot of the times, if I'm screaming at you and telling you all these things that are horrible about you, I'm posturing.
Totally.
I'm trying to protect that little child behind me.
Totally.
That's it.
Some wound again. And you make a great point. And one of the points you're making is, come on, let's all be careful about not making matters worse. We've heard that phrase since we were 2 years old. Stop making matters worse. But it's an important truth. Don't make matters worse. Okay, they may not be coming to you in the best way possible. True enough. They may be hurting your feet. True enough. True. How do you want to respond? You know that phrase, respond rather than react. If you react, then you're adding to, anyway, and we've just got this horrible situation.
Yeah, I use analogies a lot. Gary will tell you that. He laughs after a while. He just rolls his eyes at him. But
which one are we using this time?
We're using soup.
Yes.
We're using soup. Soup to me is a great analogy because it's unremovable ingredients, right? So I believe that when you have a relationship, much like this analogy, it can be a pot of soup. And anytime, like you said, you're contributing negative pieces to it, that you are grabbing seasonings that don't go with your soup and you're dumping them in there.
Point.
But in all actuality, you have no ability to ever remove them. You have no ability to take it back. Your soup now has that in it, and you have to work from that point forward. That's the other thing. You have to realize where day one starts. Because it's always now, holding people accountable for the past when you're trying to move forward is putting a trailer on a relationship that's trying to heal itself. How do you get up to speed if you've got a trailer of shit attached to it? You gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. Because nobody wants to be in debt to you in a conversation. Don't try to remember where it left off. Fuck where it left off. Start from a positive state every time you see each other. What the hell's the purpose of yesterday? Only a lesson. Everything else after that is an insanity or a mental illness, and you're taking it on as your characteristic or how you're living your life in the now. Literally starting yourself out at a fucking deficit.
Those
Who
lessons,
wants to do that?
The lessons teach you how to preemptively prepare for things. So it's also you're not getting rid of the past if a hurricane comes and you don't shutter your windows. The next time you're going to shutter them. So it's like that with relationships too. If you get shit on or really badly in one, you're going to have those shutters up the next time to defend yourself from them. But how do you not do that? Especially if you're in a relationship and they did something wrong, you still love them and you want to stay with them, but you have to forget about something awful or something pretty bad that it's hard to just let that go. It should be in the way it is, but sometimes it's tough to let that stuff go.
Well, you do have to forget something pretty awful that they did. Okay, he just came back. You said pretty awful that somebody did. Can you pick up from there, Gary? You kind of broke out.
Oh, sorry. If somebody does something awful to you in a relationship, it's hard to just, at some point be like, all right, we're going to cut that. We're going to start from one. It's like the lessons you learned were fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. So I've had it before where, I did something bad, they did something bad, and then it's over. You're always going to be thinking they're going to do it. They're always going to think you're going to do it. And it's really hard to recover from that. So how do you, do you have any techniques or any way that people could maybe, employ something that will do that? Because forgetting about the past is not really possible, but how do you move forward, in those relationships?
Well,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Remember, to Jay's point about now, I think the way we show up, let's say that you're really angry with me. Maybe you're angry with me over a number of things. I can still, this is going to be a tiny bit manipulative, but manipulative in the sense that I want to bring goodness to right now. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay. So Jay's upset at me, and he has a right to be upset at me. And I've been upset at him, but I want to bring healthiness to now, to right now. So I'm going to be fully present to Jay. I'm going to listen to Jay. I'm going to validate I'm going to empathize with his emotion. So I'm going to tune in. It's called attunement, by the way, a big psychological word here. It's called attunement. I'm going to attune to him. I'm going to listen to him actively. I'm going to try to gain and be curious what is brewing inside of him. I'm going to own what I need to own. And boy, all of those ingredients will bring healthiness to this interact. Does it change everything? No, it does not change everything. But I didn't add what Jay just called, I didn't add negativity into the soup. I added positivity into the soup. I call it corrective emotional experiences. So if you think about that, so every time now, so Jay and I have a slightly positive encounter. And then 3 days later, we talk again, and I check in with him. Jay, how you doing? About what happened? I know I hurt your feelings, and I know I stepped on your toe, and I'm fully present again. I empathize with him again. I validate again. Oh, yeah, truly, you have the right to be really upset with me, Jay. I take ownership again, and I do that again and again. And you can see what's going to happen in most relationships, not all, most. It's going to turn that relationship, as opposed to, I'm going to act immature and I'm going to grouse at Jay and I'm going to just wrinkle my nose at him and yeah, you're a jerk water too. And I'm not going to
I'm going to bring back jerk water. When is that from? I love that one.
I don't know.
I want to call somebody a jerk water now. I like this.
I'm dating myself for sure.
No,
but
I like the old school saying.
So
that's what I love them.
Corrective emotional experiences. Write it down. Remember it. We all have the power to be able to influence a relationship right now. We can make it worse, make it better, and then we can turn things around.
Our reality and our character is very fragile in that repetitive actions create stable future capabilities and relationships.
Listen to you. What do you, you're a psychologist, aren't you? Behind you. No, it's good stuff.
Cartoon philosopher.
Good,
right?
You
cartoon
got that's maybe that's I need to learn from you, man. Good job.
No, likewise. I love hearing what you have to say, and I like that you pointing out that these interactions of positivity, they reverberate. I explain on the show a lot that if you approach people with a smile, every time you see them, they're going to associate you with effing happiness. They're not going to be waiting to see you in a way where they're, anticipating some kind of issue or some kind of energy that they don't want to be around. They're going, I'm getting ready for my fucking high five because I get to see Gary.
Right.
You don't get upset at the guy that greets you with a fucking high five and listens. That's the other part that you were bringing up.
Yeah.
And that mindfulness doesn't just apply to self-introspection. It also applies to listening and being present for someone else to speak to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're the person that is sitting there formulating your response during their dissertation of what you have done that has offended them, you're not respecting their point. You're listening to nothing. You are weaving your response is all you're doing, and you're just waiting for them to take a breath, right?
And that's not called a relationship.
No.
That is not a relationship. So a relationship is I am actively listening to you. I'm just so curious, like, wow, what's alive in Gary today? What's alive in Jay today? And I want to listen for that, and I want to call it forward. I want to call it out. My goodness, I hear that you're having a tough time with blank, or you sound excited about blank, and I listen for that. And you know that I'm listening, and you know that I care, and that, holy cow, let's dance. Let's dance. So,
dude, people crave that connection.
Crave.
we're so surface level at this point that we have no idea that we all want to have those deep conversations because the ones on the surface aren't real. They have nothing in reality, nothing tangible. You brought up earlier, somebody called me names, and I feel this way. If you love yourself unconditionally, then those words have no target.
Right.
They go right by you, or your Teflon. It has no point. It'll just roll right off you, and you'll begin to identify exactly what you're saying. That person is the one with the issue. That person is the one that is hurting. Remember, anger is pain. Pain is anger.
Yep.
No matter who you're looking at.
And if you don't take it personally, Jay, then you're in a place that you can, wow, that's really interesting, Jay. You sound furious. Gary, you sound really upset. Tell me about, well, you bet I'm upset with you. Okay, well, wow, okay. Well,
I've been on the receiver of that finger.
What's going on here? And you're right. I'm not reacting because I've got emotional. Here's another topic, Jay and Gary, and it's emotional sobriety. There's a phrase like this, and it goes like this, Jay and Gary. What we don't work out in ourselves, we act out in others. What we don't work out, we act out. All right. So in other words, we all need to be doing our own inner work so that I can show up and I can not take anything personally. But if I haven't done my inner work, man, if I'm sloshing around, imagine carrying these buckets inside of me of resentment and fear, and I'm just sloshing, like glug, 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 hi, Gary, glug, glug, hi, Jay, glug, glug. And you poke me in the tiniest way, right?
Yep.
And so we bump into people all the time, and we're like going like, oh, you're a slosher. You can take that.
I love that. That's a soundbite.
You can take that one too, Jay. You're a slosher. I've met people like you. You're a doggone slosher.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they're carrying around excess potential energy that they haven't reconciled. They're bumping into others with it. And it's like having, those back in the day, the pinball machine had those little pillars in it.
Flippers.
Anytime a ball hit it. No, the actual
the pillar.
bumpers.
Oh, yeah, the round.
The bumpers.
Yeah. The bumpers,
right?
Yeah.
If you have excess energy, no matter who comes to you, you're going to whack them and send them right across the room every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
You're a pinball machine.
Yep, absolutely. So you're reactive. You've got all this sloshing. You've got this reactivity. And so listeners, if you're wondering why, I have couples come in and they say, all we do is fight. That's all we do is fight.
Well, you're looking for a fight.
You're looking for a fight. You're ready for a fight. You're a fighter. Oh, and I'm not a fighter. They're the No. Someone smarter than me said it takes two to tango. And if one says, yeah, I'm not. I love this phrase. I'm full of these old phrases, but you don't have to attend every fight you're invited to. Yeah, no, I'm not. Sorry, I'm out on this one. Yeah, well, I got a bone to pick with you. Yeah, I'm not today. Not today. Not so much.
Can we pause there for a moment? Because
Sure.
I think there's something that Gary can bring to the table here. Having such a long history with fighters, literally people that are created or are living to fight. They will pass over fights despite being called names, called out, poked at, all these things. In those people, what kind of characteristics do you see? Because there are people that can navigate that line, like a GSP. You can yell at him all day long and he just looks back at you with the same nonplussed whatever look. You're like, come on, man. Get angry for a minute.
Everyone's got their breaking point, someone's mom
True.
or their kids or, they're even the strongest willed person. There's something you could say to get them to crack you, I'm sure. But I think the guys that are really tough, they know they're tough. They're trained to be tough. They don't need to
know
act
they're tough.
And a guy like me, especially in my younger days, was always the one barking and getting my ass kicked because I wanted to prove to everybody else I was tough because I knew I wasn't really that tough. And my old man was tough. Guys in the neighborhood were tough. I hung out with bigger, tougher guys, and so
What's the quality to be developed, Gary, that would help someone be resilient to be able to say inwardly, yeah, I'm not taking this guy on or this woman. I'm not doing this. I'm not. I've got inner sobriety, inner calm.
yeah,
How does one?
I think it's just, well, it's different these days too. With the internet and everything being public. Growing
Mm.
up, I knew my family, guys in the neighborhood, a couple other people. That was about it. If I had beef with my mom or my girlfriend or my brother, it wasn't on social media and Instagram and somebody talking about it so now it's kind of, there's so many extraneous factors now that I think it's dealing with this shit is so much different, and especially like in school, if you got picked on, you got picked on till 2 o'clock and you were home and it was fine and maybe, started again the next day. But now they're bullying, social media, text, all this stuff. So I think, it's getting tougher and tougher on relationships.
Mm.
For one, I mean, every girl I know's got a million guys in their DMs telling them they're better than their boyfriend. And, every guy's looking at 100 hot girls a day on Instagram that are all filtered and fake and not really real. And, and the grass is always greener. And, I grew up in a very working class part of Cleveland, and we knew we didn't have tons of money or anything, but like, everyone around us was kind of the same. Now it's like all you see is people flexing with shit they don't even really own or they don't have, or everybody's picks their best picture out of 100 or 300 to put up there when they look perfect. And then
Guilty.
yeah, I do the same thing, and people, I have friends that get divorced and I'm like, fuck, they look like they were the happiest people on the damn planet on Facebook. And then you're like shocked. So I think, man, I don't know what, it's harder now to have that inner strength because everyone's going to know what happens. If your girl cheats
I
on you, like, how you going to take her back? And all your boys know she cheated on you. Your mom knows she cheated on you. Like, it's spread
Mm.
out everywhere. It's like, that's
Where
worse
do you
than back in the
derive
day.
where do you derive your self-worth from? That's the question in that scenario. If your self-worth comes from your boys looking at you taking someone back, then you're going to be in debt. You're screwed.
I think it's. I want to go back to doing the work. So I think if we all have the responsibility to do the inner work, to be mindful, to be aware, to just take care of that sloshing that's going on inside, whatever it is that would cause me to want to post this or post that, or look, life is great when it ain't great. It ain't, whatever it is. So behind the scenes, come on, let's all take care of business. Let's do the work. By the way, it's work. Couples who come to me for counseling, man, they're rolling up their again, back to what I said at the very start. I say to them, look, we can make a ton of progress here, but you have to do the work. You have to do the reading that I'm going to recommend. You have to follow some principles. You have to show up. So, and if you show up, you do the work, you get some things healed inside of you so that when this other person, your mate, there's a phrase from an author called a mentor. They're tormenting me. Well, they're actually a mentor, Dr. Schwartz, tormentor. They're teaching me something about myself. Oh, you're awakening in me some woundedness that I need to attend to, and I'm going to attend to it. And it's exciting. This journey of doing the work can be just a wonderful, wonderful journey. There's, in my opinion, nothing much better than doing the inner work journey and getting healed, and then being able to show up in a healthier way.
So those are two different scenarios, yet are intertwined. The self-exploration and self-awareness has to be gained in order to bring yourself presently to the relationship discussion. In your opinion, where should someone start for that self-introspection or to gain mindfulness into their own, scenario versus the relationship so that they can be present in those, sessions with you?
Yeah, it's as you might expect, I'm going to say it begins with getting into good counseling. It means sitting with someone and telling your story and letting someone hear what you think. So, because we can't hear what it amazes me, Jay and Gary, and I'm a bit critical at this. When I talk to guys and go like, okay, so who are you talking to about what all this stuff is going? Oh, nobody. Well, but no, when you're upset, when your wife trigger you, who are you calling? What? No, I don't call anybody. I mean, you got all that going on in your head? Yeah. Well, I don't want to, no, no, I tell my friend, no, I joke with my friends. I have fun with them. But who are you talking to when you're in emotional pain? What are you talking about, Dr. Hawkins? I'm talking about reaching out for help. I'm talking like I've got 6 different people, true story for me. I got 5 or 6 different folks that I can call, and I do call when I'm on the rails, when I'm like tilt. I'm like, I don't know what okay. So it begins with counseling. It begins with telling somebody your story again and again and again and letting them go like, okay. And then what's amazing, it's not really amazing, but it's exciting for me. I listen to someone and then fairly soon I can hear, oh yeah, I can hear they're called thinking errors. Oh yeah, you tend to personalize things, don't you? Yeah. You tend to catastrophize. Yeah. You tend to blame shift. Yeah. You tend to minimize. Yeah. You tend to play the victim. Yeah. And all of these thinking errors, what does a thinking error do? It's like having a broken compass. It really is. Like you're heading down the highway, but you think you're going to LA? You ain't. You're heading towards Boston. So you think
no.
Las Vegas. You think
There we go.
Okay. Anyway, you think you're going one way. You're not. And so I will help you. And then you start to understand some of your thinking errors and why you're using them. All right. It begins with counseling. It begins with self-awareness, learning to think about your thinking. That's kind of a mind trip, right? Think about your thinking. How do I view the world?
Think about your stinking thinking.
Yeah. So you got to look at all that stuff and understand. There's another phrase in the 12-step program. It goes like, this is a little sobering, guys. First thought, wrong.
Yep.
First thought, wrong. Like, well, I think first thought, wrong. Probably second thought, wrong.
Probably I'm at like 37 is where I start getting mildly rational. Like,
right.
So it's not like Jeopardy. You can't go with the first answer like Jeopardy.
Yeah. So if we grab a hold of that notion, okay. So the world says, don't doubt yourself at all. You got this. You got it all figured out. And I'm telling folks, you don't have this. You ain't got it. I mean, I care about you. I'll help you. I like you. You don't have this. You got a lot of stinking thinking. So I want you to lovingly doubt yourself. All right. You guys buying this? Because it's okay if you don't, but
no. Because I want to bring something to the table here.
All right.
Your mind is designed to protect you.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's a fucking liar.
That's right.
It is lying to you 24/7, catastrophizing, blocking. Right. It is drawing your offensive line larger and larger and larger with more characteristics to fucking protect you.
Yep.
You need a third party to tell you what's a lie from your own mind that's trying to protect you.
That's right.
Everybody should have a therapist.
That's
right. I don't understand why I ever did not in my life, because again, who can rationalize with something that always lies?
That is so true. Everyone listen to that voice right there. You've got a part of you. And by the way, when I talk to folks, they've got certain, and you two may we all have these different parts. So I talk to a lot of guys that have this. When they're triggered, they have this attorney that comes out. Oh, yeah, you think I got, it wasn't a Tuesday. It was a Wednesday. And I didn't spend $49. I spent $29. And I can't believe you're telling me I went to Safeway. I went to Target Foods. Like,
You're so
you
right.
are a scary human being, sir, when you get triggered. So we have these parts. We have a part that gets attorney-like. We have a part that can become ostrich-like. We have a part that maybe plays dumb, like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't think. Gosh, I mean, I guess, yeah, you've been angry with me 700 times for that, but I didn't think today would be one of those times. Gosh, are you really? Sorry, I'm getting a little.
No, you are spot on. I love how passionate you are about all of this, because people are going to listen to you because you're being authentic. I think that it's a good place to actually wrap up a bit.
All right.
And the reason why I say this is because authenticity really will.
I'm not done, Jay. I'm not done.
You are coming back, sir.
No.
How about that? No, I want to pinpoint that, the authenticity piece, in that we're created to be one way, and to be anything but that is a slap in the face of whomever or whatever made you, right?
Yep.
Any kind of action that is against your human nature, the personality that is you, is going to create some kind of alternate you every single time.
Totally.
And it's infinite. The more times you create another you, the more that you have to carry. If you have a sack of masks for those people, then it's going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. And guess what? You got to remember them all. Every single one of them. What mask did I wear during this interaction in 1982? Yeah. I'm going to see this guy again. I better remember where we left off. Same thing we do in a relationship. Right. Where did we leave off? Where did we leave off? Fuck that, man. Just be yourself and let everything fall where it falls.
Love it.
I appreciate you, Dr. Hawkins.
All right,
I want to
Jay
give you a moment to tell everybody where they can find you, what they can expect to receive, and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, marriage. My website is www.marriagerecoverycenter.com. And I'm at Amazon. I'm not that other Dr. David Hawkins.
Damn it,
it's
man.
okay.
You missed that, Gary.
It's okay.
I managed to get a book that wasn't his and then compliment it because it was by fucking Dr. Hawkins. Oh, I ate a fat one. You weren't there, man.
Oh man, see, right. So Jay is very good at doing research and reading every book of every. So did you read the wrong book?
Good.
We're all 30. Good. Here's the thing. I plead a little bit of
all of my books, and he had to quote the one that's not mine.
That's not cool. Like, that's like being on Double Dare and finding the flag right away. Hey,
I'm not sloshing around on this one, Jay. So we're good. So marriagerecoverycenter.com, and this is what I bring to the table. This kind of energy, and
this
if you need some help
in their life,
I'm here. I'm here for you. So thank you, Gary and Jay. It's been a delight. Thank you for letting me yammer here with you. The yammer's another thing I do, but whatever that means. But all right.
That's you being you. Gary, you got anything you want to wrap up with?
I don't want to get into a huge conversation about this, but it's kind of brought up something. Everybody's a coach, a doctor, and a therapist now, right? And, guys like you that have done this forever and take it seriously and have the passion, how do you feel about, just a quick thought, I guess, about everybody who's just making it a profession to make a quick buck now? Everyone's a coach. Everyone's, trying to cash in on this mental health, this self-help thing. And, we have to weed through so many of these guys to get to the good guys, and I could tell that you would do this for nothing,
I've been doing it forever, and I love it. And I would just say, when you're looking for a coach or looking for a therapist, experience. Just you don't. I'm not going to fault anybody if they decided at age 50 to become a coach. If they want to, okay, that's cool, but it won't give you the experience. So I would say you look for someone with some credentials, and you look for someone who's done this for they've seen it, they've been there, they've done that, and they know what the patterns are. I mean, we're all kind of alike. If you didn't kind of notice that as you're walking through the world, we're
the cereal aisle that you walked down as a kid.
We're all kind of similar.
There's Captain Crunch. There's whatever.
So, but you've got to have some experience to notice. all of those patterns. And then you have to be read up, and you've got to have some tools that you have to give to people, that there's a way out of this tunnel. It's not like, no, we're in the tunnel together and our eyes. No. There's a path forward.
That's a great analogy.
Oh,
like, why do we both need a flashlight? You should have already been at the other end once.
Yeah, it's a good call. Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah, just because some shit happened to you and you managed to get through it does not mean that you are qualified to teach everybody else how to do things. If you haven't had years of experience with the tools, is the big part. That people don't have all these tools because they haven't learned and studied and been through it.
Yep.
And if you are that person, just keep trying to help yourself understand the human experience. There's nothing wrong with making the attempt to be a coach or to give back. It's just recognize your capabilities. Don't be overselling yourself. And if you're trying to snake oil some shit or manifest your life, then screw you, get out of here. I don't care, because nobody's looking for a buck. They're looking for authenticity, love, and happiness.
Right.
I genuinely appreciate you, Dr. Hawkins.
All right.
And remember, everybody, be cool and keep learning.